Hello everyone. Hi. Sorry for not being there for last 3 to 4 days. So guys, we will start with a new topic. I hope I'm audible. Just confirm that I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Confirm you are
Thank
audible,
you.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. The recording has started. So basically, what we are going to do right now is we will be continuing with what we were doing with virtual machines. Okay. So earlier, just to have a small recap, we created two VMs. One is a Windows VM, the other one was a Linux VM. Okay. And we tried to RDP and stuff and everything worked fine. Okay. But to understand more about what we are going to do with the virtual machines, okay, what are the different options which are available. Okay, so first thing what we discussed was regarding a public IP and private IP. Okay, so now I think most of you can pretty much identify the difference between a public IP and private IP. So basically, let's say for example, I'll just have a quick recap. Okay, so just put it in the chat whether this is a public or a private IP. Put your answers on the chat. Okay, just let me know whether this IP is public or private. 172.16.31.24. Yeah, Vijay, you have your hands raised. Tell me, please.
Yeah, I'm about to say that it's a private.
Okay. Okay. Felix, just waiting for your answer. Okay. Correct, guys. So it is private. Okay. Just one more to understand. We can answer this faster. Okay. Public or private? 172.32.21.21. Public or private? You can put it on the chat. No need to answer it alone. Okay, awesome. One last one. This would be the IP is 234.21.21.23. Okay, so let me know whether this is public or private. Vijay, why do you think this is private?
Because we can have from 0 to 255
Mm-hmm.
as a IP.
Mm-hmm.
So it's within the limit that like it's only up to 234. That's why I said it's a private
Okay,
IP.
previous answer you said that 172.32.21.21 is public, correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
So that is also within the range. Then why
Uh,
did you say
but
that's
the
public?
second series which we have is like it should be between 16 to 31, right? It's more
What
than
should be
30.
the first one? What should be the first one?
It can be 10 172. I mean, it can be from 0 to
No, 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 no,
255.
no, 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 no.
Sorry,
It should be 10,
10
172,
172.
192,
Okay,
190.
one.
Only three IP, only three range you have. Anything
Okay,
apart from that, it's straightforward that it is public in nature.
public. Okay,
Okay,
10 172 and
190.
190.
Yeah,
Okay, got it. Got
192.
it.
Okay.
Oh, 92. Okay, got it.
One and then we'll just test that out as well. 192, and then the second one should be 168. Okay, so this is the example of another private IP. The other one is 10 series. Okay, anything after 10, this is private. Okay, so this should be compulsorily 168 for 192 series. Okay, when you're talking about 192, the second one should compulsorily be 168. The other two can be anything between 0 to 255. Okay, but yeah, these are the three series: 10, 172, and 192. Okay, apart from that, whatever IP it is within that range is public in nature. Okay, one last IP. Okay, let's finish this off quickly and let me know whether this is public or private first. Okay, Dilip, very nice, good, Felix, nice. So this is not an IP at all because the range is 0 to 255. Anything beyond that is not an IP at all. Okay, so that is pretty much regarding the IPs. So when you talk about IP addressing, we also talked about two things, okay, which is networking. Okay, so quickly, can someone tell me what is the criteria for a private IP address and public IP address in a network? Okay, let's say I have okay, yeah, you can just tell, you can unmute and you can answer regarding private IP and public IP. What is the major difference? Yeah, Vijay.
Private IP is like within in your on premise. It's public is like within in the cloud, like virtual stuff. I mean,
No,
like in the
that
cloud.
is not the exact definition. Exact definition is private IP is bound to your own network. Let's say you have a network, okay. Within that, if you want to access stuff, you can use private IP. Okay, that is private IP. And public IP is anything accessible via the internet. Okay, the public IPs are accessible via the internet. Okay, so that is the major difference. No difference between on-prem and cloud. Okay, you can even have your on-premises server open to the public. Okay, that is also possible, but the IPs will differ. Okay, if you're giving a private IP, it's not routable via public internet. If you're giving a public IP, it can be routed via public internet. Okay, so that is the major difference. So your private IP is restricted to your network only. Okay, let's say you're part of a particular network, network A. Okay, you're part of that network. Only the computers of network A will be able to access you, okay, via private. But same case, you have a public IP exposed, anyone in the world can access. Okay, that is the major difference, public and
This
private.
is where VPN is used, right? If I'm
Correct.
not wrong. Okay, got it.
Fine. Okay. Moving on. The next thing is what is a VNet? Okay. This is a terminology which we will discuss about in detail in the future. Okay. A VNet is basically a virtual network on cloud. Okay. A VNet is basically your network on cloud. Okay. So let's say you have a network, network A. When you're putting that on cloud, when you're virtually doing it, so that is your VNet. Okay. VNet stands for virtual network. Okay, VNet stands for virtual network. Your network on cloud is called VNet. Okay, so what we demonstrated last week was you have a Windows server, okay, part of VNet 1. Okay, and also you have another Windows server called Windows 2, okay, which is also part of the same VNet 1. Okay, VNet is same. When we try to access this VM from this VM via private IP, it was accessible. But let's say in the future you're creating another VNet, you're creating Windows Server 3 but putting it in a different VNet. Okay, let's say we are putting it VNet 2. Do you think the this VM will be able to access this VM via private IP? Okay, the question is to you. Do you think if these two are in different VNets, private connection will be possible or not? Anyone can answer, open to all. Please unmute and answer. Dilip, Felix, and Karthik.
No, it can't be accessed because different, it's a different reason and there should be required public IP.
Different region or different network?
Different network, like if it's same region and you are installing
Same
that
network. Okay, let's stick to the word same network. Region, if you're putting it in two different regions, obviously it will be in the same network. Okay, but also I'm saying, let's say you're creating two VMs in same region but different VNets, will it work or not? Same region, two VMs, but two different VNets, will it work or not?
No.
No.
What is the reason? Dilip, Karthik, anyone? Felix.
Different virtual networks. Both are
Yeah.
different virtual networks.
Right. Yeah. So that is the reason. Okay. So those two are different networks. Different networks, the private IPs, they will not work. Okay. Only the public IP will work if it is part of two different networks. That is the answer. Okay. Two different networks, private IP is not going to work. Okay. You can set up VPN and all, that is later. Okay. We don't need to worry as of now. But on a normal scenario, two different networks, VNet A and VNet B, if you're trying to privately access from one VNet to another VNet, it will not work. That is as simple as that. Okay, so that is the concept which we discussed till last class. Okay, that was the demo which we also did. Now, you understood the concept of VNet, right? Your network on cloud is your VNet. So whatever virtual machine you will be having, you will have a resource group. That is obvious. The second thing what you are going to have is a VNet, a virtual network, which it will be attached to. Your virtual network will give your VM or the virtual machine an IP address. Okay, it is going to supply a private IP address. So that IP address will be part of the range of the IPs. Okay, so let's not go into too much details about VNets as of now. Okay, but this is the concept which you need to understand. But differentiating between a public IP and private IP. What is the purpose of public IP and what is the purpose of private IP? Are you guys clear with this or not? Any doubts? Please ask. Very important concept. Okay, no doubts, I think. Let's proceed. Okay, now we are going to discuss about each and every section what we have while we are going to create a VM. Okay, so this is the major thing. Initially, what we discussed earlier classes, we discussed two or three things. We discussed about resource group, the size of the virtual machine, where you're going to deploy, what is the type of virtual machine, Windows or Linux. Okay, so this is pretty much what we have discussed. So what we are going to do is we will repeat the same thing. We will first create a resource group. Okay, I'm going to call it RG1. The VM name. Okay, so let me call it VM1. The region, obviously, you know what you need to do here. We need to fill in the region and that is done. Okay, now this is the most important thing, availability options. Okay, so you have three different types of availability. Okay, you have availability zone, you have VMSS, you have availability set. Okay, now can someone tell me what exactly is the availability zone? This was discussed probably in the first class. Okay, so what exactly is an availability zone?
Data centers, the place where the physical data is stored. It's a region. It's a
So you're
place.
saying a region and an availability zone is same?
No. Region is like a place,
Okay.
but whereas availability zone is the place where you actually store the data, and availability zone can be like even it can be two or three availability zones can be there for one single region. That's how it
In a
works.
region, you'll have minimum of 3 availability zones. Okay, that is the
Okay.
fact. Okay, so
Okay.
what is an availability zone? What you said is correct. These are individual data centers in a given region.
Okay.
Okay, Felix, if you're having any doubt in this concept, just stop me there. I can explain the whole concept. Okay, a region is basically a place. Okay, a region is basically a geographical location. Inside each geographical location, you have something called an availability zone. Each availability zone is nothing but a data center. Okay, a data center is nothing but collection of multiple servers and stuff. Okay, so each availability zone is a data center in itself. Okay, and usually in a region, in a given region, you have at least minimum of 3 availability zones. Okay, why does this play a role in increasing our availability? Let's come to that concept. Okay, let's say I'm running a website, abc.com. Okay, and that website is being served by 3 backend servers. Okay, 3 backend servers. That is a web server. Okay, that is functioning a web server role. So I have 3 backup servers. Okay, that the web server which is actually powering my website. Okay, so the data is coming from the code from these 3 VMs. They are configured. The application is configured. Probably they are running on IaaS. Let's just imagine this way: 3 servers. So if one of them goes off, okay, other two are there to take care of the virtual machine, okay, or the website. Okay, the website will not go down. So now what happens? You understood the setup, right? So I have a website which is being backed up by 3 web servers in the backend. Okay, so if one of my website, one of the VM which is running the web server goes down, the other two is capable enough to handle my website. That means, let's say if I search abc.com, okay, I will not get an error. Okay, I'll not get an error. I will get the website. Okay, that is the concept. Now, if 3 of them is also down, all the 3 are down, then I will get an error that page not found, or some whatever HTTP error you are going to get, you will get. Okay, only when all the 3 servers are down. Now, in order to increase the availability, okay, what we are going to do is using this particular option, okay, using availability zone method of deployment, you are going to deploy each one of the servers in 3 different zones. That means you will put web server 1 on zone 1, okay, you will put web server 2 on zone 2 and web server 3 on zone 3. So what happens is, in case of any issues in the data center, if anything goes wrong in one of the data center, my website will not be down. Instead, the other 2 servers which are on 2 different zones will be able to take care of my server. You got the concept? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
If you don't mind, can you please come again, Akash? It's
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So let's say you have 3 web servers. You're clear with the setup, right? You're clear with the setup.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Now, if let's say this is the first server I'm creating. Okay. I'm going to call it web server 1 and I am putting this on zone 1. I'm putting this on zone 1. Okay. And then I'm putting this on zone 2. The third VM which I'm creating, first just consider these as VMs. Okay, this is my VM1, web server 1, VM2 and VM3. The first VM I'm putting on zone 1, the second one I'm putting on zone 2, the third one I'm putting on zone 3. So what happens here is, if one of the data center, a data center is a building, okay, something goes wrong with the building, it is natural to happen. Okay, so one of the building goes down, there is a issue, there is a natural calamity, or there is a failure or whatever, power failure, whatever it is, this server goes off. Okay, for whatever reason, the other 2 zones will be able to take care of your website. That means you will not have a downtime.
Got it.
Okay, so
It
that is the
ensures the
first concept.
continuity. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that is the availability zone method of deployment. Okay, the next one is virtual machine scale set. Okay, we will discuss about that in detail later. Okay, we will move to the next one, which is availability set. Okay, we will move to availability set method of deployment. Okay, any doubts with availability zone, anything which you're not clear about? It is basically to increase the availability of your service, whatever service, database, website, whatever it is, just to increase your availability, you are deploying it in 3 different physical locations. Okay, so that is pretty much what you are going to do with the help of availability zone. Okay, and when you talk about availability set, okay, you have 2 different concepts. Okay, you have 2 different concepts. When you talk about availability set, you have 2 things. One is fault domain, the other one is update domain. Okay, first thing I want to say here is, these two, FD and UD, are not related to each other. Okay, are not related to each other. Okay, so always make sure that, just remember one thing, whatever it is, they are not related. FD is a different concept, UD is a different concept. What is FD? Okay, FD is nothing but fault domain. Okay, and UD is nothing but update domain. Very important interview question wherever you are attending. Okay, this is going to be there, fault domain and update domain. Just try to understand this very clearly. Okay, the earlier one was at a data center level or an availability zone level. Okay, do you agree with that? The earlier one which we deployed was at the availability zone level. Okay, the one which we are going to do here is at a data center or a single data center level. Okay, so that is fault domain and update domain. Okay, now first remember this, the maximum number of fault domains you can have is 3. Okay, and the maximum number of update domains you can have is 20. Okay, now let me explain what is fault domain and update domain. Okay, so first thing, let us say similar setup. I have three websites, one website, three backend servers. Okay, now let's say I have fault domain 0. Fault domain numbering and update domain numbering starts with 0. Okay, FD0, FD1 and FD2. Okay, so let's say I have FD0. Okay, and I have FD1 and FD2. Okay, the maximum you can have is 3. You cannot have something called FD3. Okay, FD0, FD1 and FD2. Okay, now if I am creating a website, okay, I have created a web server and that web server is falling on fault domain 0. Okay, this is my web server 1. Earlier same example I'm taking here, same website that is falling on FD0. Okay, the second server which I'm creating is going to fall on web server 2 will fall on fault domain 1. Okay, and the third one is going to be created on FD2. Okay, so I have created three servers. Okay, and same setup, three servers, and here what has happened is fault domain 0 is on website 1 and 1 and 2 on 2 and 3. Okay, that is how it is placed. Now what happens? What is the definition is? It is very simple. These two, okay, FD0, FD1 and FD2, all these three will not have any common top of rack or any common power supply or any common network supply. That means they are physically isolated within each other, from each other in the same data center. Okay, this is physically isolated from this is physically isolated from this. So when you imagine a data center, you will have something called a data center rack. Okay, you will have something called a data center rack. So what I mean to say here is, if you see this particular image, okay, you have just consider this to be one fault domain, because they are not going to have anything common with this. If something goes wrong with this, it will be only to this and it will not affect to this. Okay, so this is FD0, this is FD1, this is FD2. So you are placing one VM here, one VM here and one VM here. So something goes wrong here, it is not going to affect this and this. Okay, so that is the concept of fault domain. Are you clear? They will not share the same power supply or network supply or anything which is common for common physically. Anything which is common physically, they are not going to share it. Okay, so one goes wrong, the other two will be there to take care of the website or database or whatever it is. So that is within a network, within an availability zone. That is within an availability zone. Are you guys clear with fault domain? Any doubts? Okay, the next concept what we are going to discuss is update domain. Okay, update domain is a very similar concept. Okay, same example I'm going to take. Okay, I'm just going to take website 1. Okay, and we have update domain 20. I'm not going to draw all 20 boxes, but just understanding purpose, UD0, same, it will start with 0, UD1, UD2. Okay, update domain 0, 1, 2. I have same WS, web server 1, web server 2, and I have a web server 3. Okay, same thing. Now let's just say that they have been placed on UD0, UD1 and UD2. So what happens in a data center usually is they go under something called a planned maintenance. Okay, they have something called planned maintenance. So at the time of planned maintenance, okay, you have something called a maintenance window. Okay, you have a 30-minute maintenance window. Okay, wherein your server will be rebooted. Okay, so what happens when my server gets rebooted? When let me ask you this question. Okay, what happens if my all the three servers reboot at the same time? Can you guys tell me what will happen to my website? All the three servers are rebooting at the same time. What will happen to my website?
Not be able to access the website. Website will not be.
That is correct.
Not be.
Okay. Yeah. So when all my three virtual machines are rebooting at the same window, okay, my website will obviously be down. Okay. So in order to overcome that, we are spreading the maintenance window into update domains. Okay. So when we are placing these things on different update domains, they will not have the same maintenance window. Okay. The maintenance window, what they are going to have is going to be completely different. So let's say UD0 will have maintenance window at 8 a.m. Okay. This will have at least at 8:30. Okay. There will always be a half an hour window between each other. Okay. And this will have at 9 a.m. Okay. So they will not overlap. So if this server is rebooting, these two are obviously there to take care of my website. My website will not go down. Okay. So this is with respect to update domain. Okay. Are you guys clear with it? Update domain and fault domain. Any doubts? Okay. Can anyone, okay, let's say Dilip, okay, can you explain me what is fault domain?
When we are using one server, I understand, but I can't.
Take your time, no problem. Felix, meanwhile, can you explain what is update domain? Felix, are you there?
The update domain is what shall we do? What shall we do?
Sorry?
The maintenance time. The maintenance time will be the different from each domain.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Fair enough. Okay.
It should
So
not
in an
be
update
overlap.
domain, yeah, they will not. They will have three different update domains. Will not have the same maintenance window. They will have different maintenance window. Okay, and that will not overlap. In that case, your VM will be up and running. Your website will be up and running. Okay. And Karthik,
Yes. Yes.
can you explain what is availability zone method of deployment?
That availability zone method is there. We can deploy that server in that different zone, so zone 1 and zone 2, zone 3. So when one service goes down means you can available to other zone. If that server will be available, you can access that.
Any one zone goes down, the other two will be there to take care of it. Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Okay. Dilip, are you ready with your answer? Okay, Vijay, I think you can tell what is fault domain.
Fault domain is nothing but the hardwares like power supply and sort of things will be each power and other hardwares that are connected to that particular server will be different. So if one particular network, I mean it's not like network, like let's say it's power cable, that power cable is getting down for one server, the other two will be up and
One
running. So
server
in
or
that
one
case,
fault domain?
sorry, one fault domain, sorry, yet to get
Each rack,
familiarized.
okay, let's just imagine a rack. Okay, each rack will
Mm-hmm.
have multiple servers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
one rack we can imagine as one fault domain.
Okay, one
If you
rack
go
we
back to
can
this image, okay, 1 minute.
okay,
Uh, this is my rack. Okay, just imagine
okay,
this one full rack to be a fault domain.
okay,
Okay, yeah.
okay.
You are pretty much correct. Yeah, you can continue.
Yes, in that case, we can ensure that no, I mean, power supply and other basic things are covered for one particular fault domain. So fault domain can be three and more than it cannot be more than three for one. I mean, for three fault domain
Yeah, that is okay. But what is the
can be
concept?
there for one. Concept is like you need to have different, I mean like you are giving like lifeline to that particular fault domain in a separate way, like not like separate way, you are segregating it. By that way
That's
you are
correct. Physical
ensuring that,
separation, basically. Physical isolation from
yeah,
each other. So
separate.
one goes off, the other two will not be affected. Okay. The one
Yes.
rack goes off, the other two will not be affected. That is pretty much what is fault domain. Dilip,
Yes.
what is the maximum number of update domains you can have?
Update 20.
20. And fault domain?
Parliament 3.
Hmm. Okay. Fine. So yeah, that is correct, guys. Good understanding. Okay. So we will continue with creating a availability set. Okay. So let's say you're creating a web server. I am going to show you how to create an availability set. Okay. So when you talk about availability set, you'll have to give it a name. Okay. AV set 1. I'm just going to call it AV set 1. And fault domain, I'm going to put it as 3. Update domain, I'm going to put it as 20. Okay. I'm going to create a new availability set wherein I am creating fault domains as 3 and update domain as 20. Okay. And this is going to be a Windows 2016 server. And yeah, that is pretty much what it is. Username and password. Okay. Before that, I want to discuss another concept. Okay, which is about, just keep this in mind. I have created an availability set. I've given fault domain as 3. I've given update domain as 20. Okay, just keep it in mind. This is the concept with respect to availability options. Three modes of availability options. One is availability zone. The other one is VMSs, which we will discuss later. The other one is availability set. In availability set, you have created a new availability set which has 3 fault domains and 20 update domains. Okay. One thing which is very common in the interview is, okay, very common thing. Can you create or can you like create a VM and then add it in an availability set? The answer would be no. Okay, you cannot create a VM and then add it to an availability set. Okay, at the creation time only you should be able to put it into a availability set. Okay, after creation it is not going to be possible for you to add a VM to an availability set. Basic question. Okay, and availability set, please be very clear what exactly it is. Okay, that is going to be for sure. If you are attending an IaaS role or something, this is for sure the first question they are going to ask. What is an availability set? Okay, so be very clear in this particular concept. And one thing is, you cannot, after creation, you cannot add a VM to an availability set. Only while creation time you can add it. Okay, done. So going on, after this, you have 3 different methods of VM purchasing options. Okay, VM purchasing, you have 3 different methods. Okay, the first one is on demand. The second one is reserved instance purchasing option. Okay, and the third one is spot. Okay, I'm going to explain you the exact requirement or why exactly do you need this. Okay, so you have 3 different types. You have on demand, you have reserved instance, and you have spot instance. Okay, the first one is on demand, or you can also call it pay as you go. Okay, pay as you go. That is what we have been creating till date. So what it is, it has no commitment. You can just create a VM as and when you require. Okay, you can just create a VM as and when you require. So there is no commitment. Just create it, delete it whenever you want. Okay, that is on demand or pay as you go. Okay, the second one is reserved instance. You can reserve a particular size. Okay, you can reserve a particular size for a given time. Let's say you want to reserve it for 1 year. You have 2 options, 1 year or 3 years. You will reserve that particular resource. Okay, for that particular period. Okay, what is the difference between on demand and reserved? You will get more discount. Okay, you will get up to 40% discount from the on demand price. Let's say if it is 100 rupees, you will be getting this for 60 rupees. Okay, just I'm not telling the exact price, just to understand the pricing differences. Okay, so you'll get it for 60 rupees, and that is reserved instance purchasing option. Either you can reserve that particular resource for 1 year or 3 years. Here we do have commitment. You have to use that resource for at least either 1 year or 3 year, depending on what you have. Okay, so that is the commitment which you are going to give. And one more disadvantage of reserved instances, you will have to pay an advance in upfront. Okay, that means instead of paying a monthly bill, you will be paying something upfront. Okay, you'll be saying, look, I'm going to use this for 3 years. This is the advance which I'm going to pay you. Okay, then you will be eligible for the discount. Okay, you'll be eligible for the discount, and then at least you are expected to pay around 50% of the total cost. That is with respect to reserved instance, but obviously you have the financial benefit wherein you get a discount of up to 40 to 50% sometimes in some regions. Okay, so depending on the region that varies, but only thing is there is a commitment and there is an advance which you are expected to pay. Okay, the next one is spot instance. Okay, spot instance is basically, it's a very tricky concept. Okay, try to focus here. Okay, try to focus here. So let's say I have a region. Okay, I have a region. Let's say I have region in XYZ. Okay, I'm not going to name any exact region, region XYZ. And here you have just a representation. You don't need to say that this is the exact count, just to represent and make you understand. I'm just saying, let's say you have only 9 racks. Okay, 9 total racks in this particular data center. Okay, 9 racks. 1 minute. Need to put 9 boxes. Okay, you have 9 racks, just a representation. No data center will have 9 racks. It will have obviously more than that. So let's say it has 9 racks and all the 9 racks are unutilized. Okay, that means no one is coming here and buying your resources. Okay, so in this particular region, because it is probably a third world country, or it is a very less selling region, or it's the sales are not happening as expected in this particular data center. No one is buying it. So what you will do is these unused capacity. Okay, this is all unused, right? So what you will do is you will release this as spot instance. Okay, you will get up to 80% discount. Okay, 80% discount because it is an unutilized capacity. Instead of simply that being there unused, Azure, what they will do is they will release those capacities as uh, like a spot instance. Okay, so what will happen is you will be eligible up to 80% discount for these type of VMs. Okay, these are called spot instance. Okay, so how does this concept works? Okay, you have two price. Okay, one is um, maximum price and then the other one is spot price. Okay, so first scenario, all the 9 are unused. Okay, what they will do is they will set up spot price of 10. Okay, spot price is set by Azure. Okay, spot price is set by Azure, and maximum price is set by the customer, which are the end users. Okay, customer will set the maximum price. So what is the maximum price? The price which you can afford for the VM. Okay, the price which you are ready to give for a spot instance, can afford for the VM, the price the customer can afford for the VM. Spot price is the maximum price or the price which the Azure is going to sell that VM for. Okay, now let's say if I'm giving a maximum price of 15 rupees, okay, the spot price is 10 rupees. Okay, do I get the VM? Yes, I get the VM, because my price which I'm ready to offer is 15 rupees. The actual price is 10 rupees. So I am going to have that particular VM. Okay, so that is the concept. But how does it actually work? So let's say now after a few days, you have very well used this. You have used this for a month. You have used the spot instance for like let's say we have 3 different types of users. Let's just take example. We have Felix, okay, and we have Karthik, and we also have Dilip, okay, and we also have Vijay. Okay, let's not leave anyone out. So yeah, Felix, Karthik, Dilip, and Vijay. Okay, so all 4 of you, what you're going to do is you are going to set, based on your company requirement, you are going to set different prices. Let's say Felix is setting around 11 rupees as his maximum price. Okay, Karthik, he's going to set around 13 rupees. Okay, Dilip is going to set around 15. Okay, and Vijay 17. Okay, 17 rupees. So what happens here is once the capacity or the requirement for on demand instance come back. Okay, once the requirement for on demand instance comes back, they are going to take away the spot instance and put it as reserved. Earlier what happened, all the instances were spot, okay, but users are demanding for, let's say customers or users are demanding for on demand instance. What they will do is they'll take away from the spot instance and they will give to the on demand customer. The reason being revenue, okay, because on demand VMs are you're going to give them much more money compared to a spot instance. So in what way are they going to take? Okay, so earlier we discussed two price, maximum price and spot price. So maximum price of our class students are these. Felix is giving 11, Karthik is giving 13, Dilip is giving 15, and Vijay is giving 17. There is something called spot price, which will increase and decrease depending on the demand. Now the demand has come up. Okay, that means there is a demand. Do you think the spot price will increase or decrease? Answers, guys. Spot price will increase or decrease?
Akash, I doubt. Hello. Akash,
Sorry?
I doubt.
No. The question is, will the spot price increase or decrease when the capacity increases or when the demand increases for on demand?
It will increase.
Okay, Dilip, Karthik, Felix.
It will be increase.
It will increase. Okay, the answer is it will increase. I'll repeat again, Felix. So spot price is a price which will vary depending on the demand. Okay, if there is a higher demand for on demand, the spot price will increase. If there is lower demand, the spot price will decrease. Okay, so when the on demand instances demand increases, okay, so let's say now we have occupied around 3 racks for on demand. You have a remaining 6 which can be used for spot instance. Okay, so what will happen? Obviously, this will go to 12 rupees. Let's say it will go to 14 rupees. Now you tell me, depending on our students, who all will have the spot instance, who will not have it. Quick guys, simple question.
Dilip and Vijay will get.
We have.
Yeah, Dilip and Vijay will pretty much have it because their spot price is much the maximum price which they are ready to give is 15 and 17. Felix and Karthik will not have because their maximum price which they have set is 11 and 13. Okay, and for this scenario, another 3 racks are required. Okay, another 1 month later, another 3 racks are required for for on demand. Okay, now what happens? The spot price increases or decreases? Felix, I want you to answer this.
Spot price will decrease.
Decrease. Why is that?
If nobody is bidding that, it will decrease, I think so.
No. It is basically spot price will depend on the demand for on demand. So if it is the demand is high for on demand, then the spot price will increase. It will not decrease.
Increase. Yeah,
It will increase. Okay. So now what happens? Let's say 3 more racks are required for on demand. Spot price becomes 16 rupees. Okay. The current spot price is 16. Now tell me who all will have the virtual machine. Who all will have the spot instance?
Vijay only will have.
PJ.
Okay. Vijay only will have. Okay. Now you will ask, if I set a very high maximum price, at least I'll be eligible for 50% discount. Okay. The case is not like that. Usually what happens is Azure will not have free spaces for spot instance. Okay. Usually everything will be given away for on demand and reserved instance. So when all the racks are having on demand and reserved instance, you will not have any space. Even though you are giving a very high maximum price, you will not have a spot instance at all. Okay, that means if all the racks are being utilized for on demand, if you do not have capacity, no one will have the spot instance. Are you guys clear with this? Any doubts?
Got it.
Okay, it will regulate if they have capacity for spot instance, two factors, spot price, maximum price. Okay, depending on that, it will regulate. If they do not have capacity at all, they will not have the spot instance at all. Okay, now I will tell you how do you work on that. Okay, you have something called eviction type, you have something called eviction policy. Okay, there are two eviction types, so run with Azure spot discount. Okay, so you can learn more about it if you're not clear with this link. Okay, what exactly is a spot instance? You can use this link to understand more if I was not clear enough. Okay, so you have two eviction types. One is capacity only. Okay, so what happens here is your virtual machine will be evicted. Evicted is nothing but taking away your spot instance. Okay, your VM will be evicted only when Azure excess capacity disappears. That means if there is no capacity or not, only at that time you will be evicted. Clear?
Please explain again, please.
So you will be evicted. What basically that means is your spot price, sorry, your maximum price, okay, is set to the on-demand price. It is set to the on-demand price. So only when there is like no capacity, you will be evicted. Otherwise, you will have the spot instance. That means only under this scenario you will be evicted. But if this is spot, okay, and this rack is for spot, okay, and this is also for spot, you will not be evicted. Only when there is no capacity for spot instance, you will be evicted. Clear?
Okay, got it.
Even though if you pay for that, you will be evicted or what? I'm not understand. I don't understand this question.
Yeah. Pay for what?
You have already paid for that in the spot price, and you have
Spot price is something which we don't decide. The Azure will decide the spot price. We will decide the maximum price. Okay. So let's say you are giving a maximum price of 200 rupees. Okay. 200 is the maximum which you can afford. And the on-demand price, on-demand is the rate of the virtual machine is 200 rupees.
Okay.
Okay. Now the spot price is 30 rupees. Do you have the VM or not?
Yes.
Let's say it goes to 60. Do you have it or not?
Yeah, I do have.
Let's say it goes to 199. Do you have it or not?
Yeah, up to
You will
200.
have it. Okay.
Yeah.
But at some point, you will not have, Azure will not have the capacity to give you a spot instance.
Okay.
Then you will be evicted. Only then you will be evicted.
Okay.
So what basically we are doing is we are setting the maximum price which you can afford for a spot instance equal to the on-demand price.
Okay. Okay.
So you will continue to get a persistent request. You'll continue to have a spot instance. Only if the capacity runs out, you'll be evicted.
Okay, you are like quoting as much as you are able to pay, as much as you can pay, but whereas that subscription will be taken based on the spot price which is fixed by the Azure. I mean fixed
Correct.
by the Azure, yeah, Azure. And once the ceiling limit, let's say my ceiling limit, this Azure's spot price is exceeding my ceiling limit of what I'm ready to pay. In that case, my machine will be evicted. Okay.
No, I'll put it in a more clearer way. Let's say you're going to a Nike stock clearance sale. Okay.
Okay.
You're
Okay.
going to a clearance sale. You're believing that there is going to be an 80% discount. Okay.
Okay.
You go, you take goods, you take how much ever goods you want. At some point, they run out of stock.
Okay.
Then what are you going to do? You can't do anything about it, right? That's it.
Okay. Got
They
it.
don't have capacity for your spot instance. You cannot do anything. That's it.
Yes. Understood.
That's it. Okay. The next one is the other mode of eviction is price or capacity. That means you set a maximum price. If it goes over your maximum price, you'll be evicted. Or when there is a capacity issue, it is going to be evicted. That means we discussed about this, right? 11, 13, 15, 17. You set a maximum price. Here you're going to put your maximum price, which you're going to put. Okay. So let's say I'm going to put $0.045. Okay. $5 is the price which I'm ready to give. Okay. So if it is going, if the spot price goes over that, then only I'll be evicted. Clear? Not clear?
Got it.
So one way is if the capacity runs down. The second way is you say a price. If the spot price goes over that, you'll be evicted. Or when there is a capacity, when there is no capacity, it will be evicted. Okay. So these are the two methods. And in this method, your maximum price will be set to the spot price. Maximum price will be set to the on-demand price. Here you get to set what is your maximum price which you are ready to give for a spot instance. Okay. Here you control. Here there is no control. Only when there is no capacity you will be evicted. Okay. And what is the eviction policy? You have two different types of eviction policy. One is either you can stop the instance or delete the instance. Okay. So once the price goes over, let's say Felix's price, the current price is 10 rupees, it goes over 10, now it becomes 12. Okay, so Felix's VM, where depending on what you give here, whether you want to shut it down or whether you want to delete it, depending on what eviction policy Felix gives, it will happen. Okay, if he has given to stop, it will stop. If he has given to delete, it will delete. Okay, so that is pretty much with respect to the spot instance. So we have three different types of purchasing options. The first one is on demand. That is very simple, straightforward. You give them the money, they give the VM, you delete it, you don't get paid, you don't get charged. Okay, that is on demand. Reserved instance, you are reserving a particular size for a particular period, 1 year or 3 year. You are eligible for a discount. The disadvantage is you are going to pay them in advance. Spot instance, it is something which is highly risky. You will not have anything in constant. They can take away your virtual machine whenever they require demand, whenever they have demand for on demand. So there is nothing certain with respect to spot instance. Only advantage, a lot of discount. You're going to save 80 to 90% on what you're going to pay for on demand. Okay, so these are the three different VM purchasing options which you have. Okay, clear? Any doubts? No doubts, we'll move forward. So the other thing with this particular here is you have something called licensing. Okay, where if you already have by any chance purchased any Windows 2016 license or 2019 license, you can use that. Okay, you can use that, and while you log in into that VM, you need to give that product key. Okay, and you will be saving around 49%. Okay, so if you've already purchased that, you can use this particular feature to give that coupon code, product key to this particular VM, and you can utilize that. So that will not go waste. Whatever you have purchased on premises, you can use that here as well. So that concept is called Azure hybrid benefit. Okay, you can use your existing licenses here. Okay, so that is with respect to Azure hybrid benefit. So this is all about the first section, the basic section of creating a virtual machine. What are the concepts? Resource, first you select the resource subscription, resource group, the VM name, the region where you're going to deploy. If you want to have it in an availability option, if you want to increase the availability, you put it in any of these three. If you want to have like different security options, this is a standard one. This is having a higher level of security. Okay, and you have images we have discussed. We have Windows, we have Linux, and all of those. And you have purchasing option where if you want to create like a spot instance, you can use this particular option. The size of the virtual machine, depending on what your requirement is, you can choose your size. So you have like vCPUs and RAMs and stuff. Okay, so that is with respect to size. Then you will have a username and password, and then the port which you need to open. If it is a website, then you will open HTTP and HTTPS port as well. But only if you're going to RDP, that is for Windows. And what is for Linux? What is the protocol for Linux? Putty protocol. That is the tool. Putty is the tool. What do we open for Linux? For Windows, it's RDP. The tool which you are going to use is RDC, remote desktop connection. Okay. What is the port number for RDP? Yeah, SSH. That is correct. Port number for RDP?
3389.
3389. And for SSH?
22. Correct.
Perfect. Okay. So RDP, the port number is 3389. For SSH, it's 22. And for HTTP, it is 80, and HTTPS is 443. Okay. These are the basic port numbers which you need to remember. Okay, so once we are done with the first option, the second option which we go is disks. Okay, so you have two types of disks in a virtual machine. Okay, so the first type is OS disk. The second one is data disk. Okay, OS disk will contain OS related information. Okay, so that is basically your C drive in your Windows. Okay, and for Linux it is going to be something different. Okay, so OS related information will be there on your OS disk. A virtual machine cannot run without OS disk. Obviously it needs something to boot on. Okay, so it needs the OS disk. Okay, so that is your operating system disk, and data disk is something where you store the data. Okay, you store the data of the machine, whatever important data which you need to store, you will store it on the data disk. Okay, so that is the OS disk and data disk. Data disk is something which is optional. Okay, you might have it, you might not have it, but usually you will have it. Okay, you will have the data disk. So I will continue this part from tomorrow. Disks I will start up tomorrow, but I'll create this machine. I will show you the availability set. How can you detect whether a VM is part of an availability set or not? Okay, I'll quickly create this. I just have a few minutes left, so we'll finish this. I'll show you what availability set it is part of, and then we can wind up. Meanwhile, if you have any doubts with any concepts, please let me know. Oh no. I don't think I created it in availability set. Let me do it. Availability set, create new, AV set 1 3 20, username, password. This is the VM name. Okay, and here infrastructure redundancy, put it in availability set, create availability set, AV set 1, for domain 3, update domain 20. Okay, click on OK, give the username and password. Done. Go to review and create. Okay, and done. So guys, can you quickly tell me, okay, one quick thing, what all gets created when you create a VM? What are the things which get created when you create a virtual machine? Along with that, we discussed about this last class.
A virtual machine gets created and public address, private address, if I'm not wrong, you get a private address too.
That is automatic. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
And what else gets created?
We need to disk and a network interface. VNet.
The hardwares, like let's say like data storage, I mean these are the things that's created along with the work.
Disk gets created, disk. Okay, so disk, and then Karthik, correct, Nick and disk gets created, and yeah, that is pretty much it. Okay, NIC, disk, and VM, public IP. Okay, VNet, if it is already there, you can use the existing one. If it's you need to, first time you are creating, you need to create a VNet, you need to create a resource group and everything. Okay, so that is pretty much what gets created along with your VM. We can see here we have created AVs, we have created an availability set, so that also got created. But okay, and also a network security group, an NSG gets created.
Yes.
So you have this is your availability set. Okay, only that is specific to this deployment. You have an IP. you have a network security group. This is your NIC and this is your VM. Okay. Apart from this, you also get to you create a disk as well. Okay. So all these things will get created along with your virtual machine. Okay. So how do you differentiate a VM? How do you identify a VM whether they are part of an availability set or not? Very simple. Go to the VM properties. Sorry, go to availability part. Here you'll find it here. 1 minute. Yeah. So here availability and scaling. Here, if you see all dashes here, okay. So that means they are not part of any availability set. Okay. Meanwhile, if you this is a VM which is part of an availability set. Okay. So if I go here, I will be able to see that whether they are part of an availability set or not. So here you can see that they are part of fault domain and update domain. Okay. And they are part of the availability set. Okay. That is pretty much how you differentiate. This is not part of it. This is part of it. Okay. And you will identify which availability set it is part of. If you click on that, you can identify how many VMs are there, what is the configuration of the availability set and all, everything you can find out. So the task for you is very simple. Create 3 VMs. Okay. 3 VMs, create one availability set. Okay. Create one availability set and it's not add, it's basically create. So basically what I'm trying to say is create all these 3 VMs in one availability set. Okay. And let me know what is the fault domain and update domain values. Okay. Of all the 3 VMs. So you're going to create 3 VMs in a single availability set. Okay. So you let me know what exactly is the fault domain value and update domain value for each one of them. Okay. So that is pretty much what you are going to do. Okay. And once you're done with that, shut the VM down. Do not delete it. We might need it for future classes. Okay. So shut the VM down and we can just let me know what is the fault domain and update domain count for those VMs. Okay. And we will meet again tomorrow. Same time, 6:30 we'll be meeting tomorrow. Okay. Any doubts, anything, please reach out to me.